This is episode 165, Thriving in Turbulence, the Power of Personal Certainty in Times of Change. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/blakemallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode.
Walk with me. Discouragement. If I were to summarize the sediment, the feeling, the emotion in the majority of people in the world right now, I'd use that word. Discouragement. Not everybody, don't misunderstand me. I know those of you guys walking with us today, those in this circle, maybe have a different perspective, a different attitude, on the rise, seeing opportunity. But if I were to be real, we were to send out a survey link to every person on planet Earth right now, and they selected a bubble on, honestly, how they were feeling the majority of time in this season, I think discouraged would be pretty high on the list. And it makes sense given just where we're at in the world right now. It's a super weird time. If you just step back and look at what we've just been through, what we're in the middle of, all of the acceleration that pandemic created within us as individuals, communities, the macro climate, the season of shift, of change, of evolution, of just rapid change right now. And all of it mixed up into one big bucket. People detached, disconnected, uncertain. It makes sense. I'm just coming off a awesome week in Texas. We were at the DSN Direct Selling News, which is the kind of trusted, credible, professional voice for our channel. Everybody who's anybody, executive owner in the room, a few hundred companies representing about 50 billion. That's what the B in annual revenues, and tens of millions of people if you think about the community power behind all the brands. And we spent an evening in the awards ceremony. It was awesome to get recognized for our community in the top 25 in the world. And in 2 days, hearing from about 30 different speakers on kind of where we're at, what's working, what's not. And I think an overarching feeling, maybe not a word used in every speech, but a feeling is just everybody's facing this discouragement. And if I were to think about what's the shift, right? What's the different perspective? What's the need on the opposite side of that? More than ever right now, in one word, I would say certainty. Certainty. And that's the conversation I want to have with all of you all today. Not one of why discouragement. I don't want to belabor that. It is what it is. But more one of how certainty, raising that vibration in ourself, certainty in ourself, knowing that when we raise that within our own selves, we can transfer that certainty to others at a time people need it. In everything we do, in our life, in our communities, in our businesses, in our ventures, in our professions. So I want to talk certainty, and specifically 3 thoughts to raise your personal certainty right now. So, this discouragement dilemma, do you feel it? Like if you were to take a poll of, the last 4 months, isn't it crazy we're this far into 2023? Have there been times where you've been just discouraged, just flat out a feeling of discouragement for whatever reason? Maybe no reason that you even are aware of. And I think just where the world's at, economically, politically, professionally, it's just easy to find signs or references to trigger discouragement. And I think that's why certainty needs to be a conversation. Like there's so much fear and so much negative news. Someone needs to be talking about, we need to be talking about, how do we raise our certainty in a time of uncertainty? When I say certainty, what comes to mind? What meaning does that word have for you? For me, a certainty encompasses a confidence, a belief, a knowing, an energy, a conviction. And all of those things create movement, progress, growth, evolution, velocity, momentum, change in yourself and around you, in others, in what you do. And I don't think we can get to all of those things we want in our life and we want in our professions from a place of discouragement. We got to shift to a place of certainty in the path we're on. So how do we do that? Like, what creates certainty? If I were just to point blank ask you the question, how do you raise your own certainty right now? What do you do? What are your life hacks? What are your tips? For me, 3 things come to mind. Sit on a rock. It's our rock. Oh. 3 things that I know, just from experience in myself and my journey working with tens of thousands of entrepreneurs through all the seasons, ups, the downs, the peaks, the valleys, all of it. 3 things that I know consistently will raise certainty for anyone, for you, for any time, for right now. The first is probably the simplest, because it's something you can do with a decision, and that's environment. You want to raise your certainty, shift your environment. So you got to take inventory right now. When I say your environment, I don't just mean physically, although that definitely can shift an energy. I mean the people and information you surround yourself with. I mean your input, right? Your environment determines your input, starting with the people that are in the closest proximity to you, the people that you are around the most, the people who you allow in your physical proximity. So therefore, you allow their beliefs, their thoughts, their comments, their conversations to constantly inundate your own filter of what you believe. And it doesn't matter who you are. I don't care who you are. That influences us. Our environment influences us. You never outgrow your environment influencing you. I think that's a misnomer, a myth, a misconception. We think we can get so strong and get so motivated and get so disciplined that we can put a blinder on, a box around us, and no, we don't let the things around us influence us. BS. We all get influenced by our input. We are biologically designed to do so. The name of the game is not to learn how to not get influenced. The name of the game is to be more conscious, more aware, more intentional of what we allow to influence us. Get the shift. It's not stopping what influences us. It's choosing what we allow to influence us. That is growth. That is maturity. That is the difference. So you got to take inventory of who you surround yourself with, who are the people that you hang out with the most socially, right? And it's not just people in physical proximity, although that's a really important part of your environment. Today, we're so connected digitally that our environment is just as much in our hand as it is, at the table with us, right? The environment is our feeds, it's our messages, it's our chats, right? It's our Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. It's all of the content that we are digesting every single day. That is our environment. It's funny, like if we were to time chart the amount of information we're getting and say, well, what percentage of it comes from physical proximity? What percentage of it comes from digital proximity? For most of us, that'd be a crazy thing to chart, because I bet the grand majority of our environment is digital today. So when I say environment, I mean all your input, all of the people, all of the references, all of the thoughts, all of the sayings, all of the messages, all of the headlines, all of the chats, all of the news, all of the videos, all of the thumbnails, all of the stories, all the TikToks, all of that stuff. You got to take inventory of it, and you got to start to ask, is that information raising your certainty in the path that you're on, or is that information creating doubt, creating fear, creating negative emotion, comparison, envy, jealousy, stress, anxiety, worry, concern, all that stuff? It's all triggering something. And again, it's not learning how to not feel or not respond. That's not how we're wired. It's learning how to filter your environment to get rid of the things that trigger the things you don't want, and to have more of the things that trigger the things that you do want. Sounds so simple, such a simple thing. Yet we all still don't follow and don't delete and stare at the stuff. Negative news. It's attention grabbing, isn't it? It's a drug. It's an addiction. So I think when we talk about certainty, the first thing we have to do, and the thing we can control, we can't control how we respond to things. We can control the things of which we're responding to in a major way by deleting, removing, minimizing, reducing, blocking, all of the things that don't breathe certainty into our lives. So that's one thing you can do right now. What's some things you can do to minimize, to reduce, right, in order to improve the environment that we're on? Because I think that's the first shift that we can make to elevate certainty, remove the things that cause uncertainty and doubt and fear. And that's something we can all start right now and make it a daily thing of deleting and removing and reducing. A daily thing to say, no, not right now. That's not allowed in my space. I don't put my energy there. It's a conscious effort, and it is a daily battle now more than ever. I think the second thing, so if number one I would say is environment, I would say the second thing we're talking about certainty would be authenticity. Now, I know authenticity is an overused word today, but there's no better word to describe what I'm trying to communicate. So let me go a layer deeper. When I say authenticity, what I mean by that is being your authentic self, being your true self, living your truth. And again, that might sound overly simplistic, it might sound cliche, but it's the truth. If you want to raise your certainty, the highest level of certainty is being who you really are and communicating, living what you really believe. Because I'm going to say that again, the highest level of certainty, where you're vibrating at a 10 of 10, where you're transferring certainty to others, is when you are being you and you are communicating something you really believe. Something you believe, 100%, zero doubt, full faith, a full belief, that transfers certainty. You know, it's interesting. We talk about like influence and leadership and vision, like all those things. You know how to lead, you know how to influence, you know how to create a vision, come from a place of what you know to be true. Because if you speak your truth in a way that is you, because that breathes certainty. It communicates a different energy. It communicates a different level, right, of certainty, confidence into others. But how often do we filter who we are? How often do we try to be someone we're not? How often do we try to imitate someone we saw or try to come from a place of a different perspective? Or how often do we filter what we know to be true because we're afraid of what someone else might think or how they might respond or how they might look at us? Constantly diluting who we are and what we really believe. And then we wonder why we don't transfer certainty in others when you're only giving a partial of yourself. So you want to transfer certainty, come from a place of unfiltered, right? Unfiltered you. Who is you? Who are you? And what is something you really believe? Wholeheartedly, you believe in, you are passionate about. Like, it is who and what you stand for. It is something that you believe in whatever aspect, right? It can be something politically, it can be something economically, it can be something professionally, it can be something in your business, something in your community, something for your brand, something you know, something you love, something you learned. As long as you're coming from a place of you and you're coming from a place of this is what I believe, you guys, that transfers a certainty. This is who I am, this is what I believe. Communicate from that place and you're going to transfer a certainty in others. The opposite of that is filtering yourself, being someone you're not, saying partial you, filtering what you say because of the audience you think might be hearing all of this. And again, this might be overly simplistic, but it's what we do every day as people. So you want to shift certainty, shift your environment, reduce the things that are bringing you down and elevate the things that are fueling you or lifting you up and come from a place of authenticity, who you are and what you believe in. And then the last one, if I'm going to give a number 3 when it comes from a certainty standpoint, I think it has to be faith. I think you can't have certainty at 100% without a faith. Personal opinion. And I honor and respect all different belief systems around spirituality, around religion, around whatever you believe to be true. But I do think no matter who you are and what you believe, to live in certainty, there's got to be some element of faith in you. Faith that there is something bigger and a grander purpose and a reason, some sort of design or alignment. You got to believe at the very core that what is unfolding is what's meant to in some way. And not just the good things and when things go right and you get the victory and you get the win, but all things, even when the things are not going right or going wrong or are even in the situation that are the worst, horrific, pain. All of the seasons we all go through, the good, the bad, you can't judge them differently. They're all just things that are meant for you. You guys see, certainty, I think we got to debunk the myth where it's about control. We've been taught for whatever reasons that we need to control. When we're in control, we feel a certainty. And I know that's truth, but it's fake. It's fake. It's a lie. That feeling is a lie. Because we're never really in control. The lie we tell ourselves when we think we control something, do we really control that? Or is the truth that we're never really in full control? And that's a lie we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel good in the moment, but because deep down we know that's really a lie, we never get the full certainty. So certainty doesn't come from needing or being or feeling in control. It comes from not needing to be in control. Because that's a shift when you can be certain from a place that you don't need to be in control, because we never really are. You can get to that 10 of 10 certainty. And I think the only way you get to that belief system is through a faith that things are unfolding the way they're meant to. Things are working not to you, but for you. That everybody, everything, every circumstance in your life is an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to mess up, right? An opportunity to figure out a way that doesn't work. A door that gets shut to nudge you in another direction. A person that comes into your life for a reason, right? Or a season to teach you something, to connect you to somewhere, to point you in a direction. And to start looking at all of those things and not judging them as good or bad, but just accepting them the way they are and realizing that they're all moving you in a direction you're meant to go. And you guys, a faith in that, a faith in the process, a faith in the journey creates certainty. Right? A person who loves to walk will always go further than the person who loves the destination. You got to learn to love the walk. And you'll walk past destination after destination after destination because it's not about that. It's about the walk. And you guys, that feeling, that perspective, that lens teaches us to let go, teaches us to not try to control, not try to get stuck in that cycle of insanity, and teaches us to realize that, hey, we can have faith. And with faith comes a belief and comes a confidence and comes a certainty. So those are my thoughts. Your environment, you can start filtering right now. It's an ongoing battle. Authenticity is just causing us to unfilter ourselves. There's nothing to learn there. It's just unlearn all the stuff that we're doing every day. It's actually more effort to filter what we do. It's less effort just to be you and speak from what you believe. Everything else is taught. Think of how much energy you can save. Just stop doing all the things you're doing to filter yourself, and your certainty will raise. And then have a little bit of faith. It's not about trying to control things. It's about realizing we're never in control and being cool with that. But if you come from those three things, your certainty level is at a different place. It's at a different place. You're fueled up by what's around you. You're communicating what you believe. And no matter what, you have faith that you're going the quote unquote right way because it's the only way. And you guys, you come from that place, you will approach what you do and how you do it in your life and your business a totally different way. And what's great is not only will you be more impactful in what you do and the path that you're on, that energy transfers, it actually inspires other people to show up and live in a similar fashion. Your example says more than your words ever will. And that's what the world needs right now. The world needs more certainty, which is going to come from more people raising their certainty and then transferring that as a positive environment to others. Sun's peeking through today. Still a little gray. Man, California's weird weather this year. I'm telling you, something's up, people. It's weird out here. Tons of rain, then it's super hot, then it's not. Summer and spring are going to come soon. I know, at some point, it's coming. I think this message today is something that's needed for people right now. Discouragement is a state. Even if people don't admit it or don't talk about it, it's a feeling out there. And I think that the shift to certainty and the things we talked about today can resonate and make an impact on people. So feel free to tag them in the comments, share this to your feed, share the podcast, and most importantly, adapt this week. Raise the awareness and start to make little adjustments in your life so you can move toward a higher certainty level for yourself and those around you. Until the next time, take care, everybody.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.